Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is an all signs reading for autumn equinox 2023. That moment of stillness at the middle of the swing from the extremity of 1 degree of the Earth's axis that's lopsided and the maximum, so between the minimum and the maximum, between the north and the south, between the black and the white. That point of stasis between those two, of perfect halfway there, like at the bottom of the pendulum swing, there is a moment of perfection in terms of the bisection of the entire journey. It's been cut in two, and there is that perfect halfway point. And I don't know what time that happens on the day in question, but we'll just go for the day. All right, we won't go for the exact moment. So I'm working with 2 decks here. I've got the Ancient Italian Tarot here. This is the Major Arcana. I'm going to pull 3 of these, and then here I've got the Rider-Waite split into its suits. So for each of the 3 Major Arcana, I'm going to pull 1 from each suit to clarify it and drill down a little bit into the energy. The first card I pull is going to represent, and the first column that builds on that with the Minor Arcana clarification, represents in this 3-card spread an immediate snapshot of the energy within you and around you, immediate in terms of time and space, like what's closest up to you and sort of how things look to you at this time. The second card represents position 2, represents the hidden energy, the undertow, the underbelly, like what's acting on this situation that you don't necessarily see or acknowledge. And the third card is the kind of overarching optimal potential from this situation, depending on how you proceed through it. So that's how the spread works. This is how the cards work in these readings. So let's dive in. Right, everything's shuffled, but I'm just going to give it one more for your certainty. Right. First card that comes out is the Magician in the reverse. I work with reversals in the Major Arcana portion, but not in the Minor Arcana portion. Second card out, Temperance. Okay, I'm getting an external energy for this straight away. Someone, probably, we'll see how this goes, but there is a foot on the brake. And so far, that feels like a good thing. We've got Temperance here. Again, stasis, and it's right in the middle of the reading. And that's a very good sign. But things here, things as you see them, we've got an energy here with the, I was going to say the Emperor. How interesting. With the Wizard, the Magician in the reverse, there's a feeling of being incapacitated in some way. But we'll get more of that as we go. Okay, and we've got the Hierophant in the reverse. Okay, so maybe the upending of some sort of internal, possibly, or collective sort of moral stance, or the moral rule book, how things operate. That's on its head. So we've got 2 energies on their head. Thank goodness we've got Temperance in the middle here. I'm going to push straight on, dear viewer, dear listener, and start clarifying these. Hold on, before I do that, I have a strong feeling that there is an admonition happening here in the Hierophant in the reverse. He's ticking off and telling off the Magician here. And I get the feeling like he has had to turn himself upside down in order to do this. Very interesting energy. He's not happy with him. Now, I don't always have a huge amount of time for the Hierophant. I find him a bit pompous. And not just in this depiction, the whole energy of it, because it's like the reification and the politicization of the moral and the spiritual in the human realm. It's not legal law, it's moral law, and it's collective, and it's sort of publicly and collectively carried out and enforced. That's not my kind of thing. Even though I am a Buddhist, I became a Buddhist 3 years ago. I'm in my late 50s, and I was quite surprised to be choosing to become a Buddhist, and I was a bit miffed about it at the beginning, because it's like, oh God, I'm not a kind of soul agent anymore. I'm like connected to this like system, this spiritual system, and that's what the Hierophant represents here. Someone here in the Magician in the reverse, I mean, I said incapacitated, but it might even be a misuse of capacity. Let's see. But sitting in the middle of it all, calm and quiet, and so easy to overlook, so easy to miss, like the moment of Equinox, is the Angel of Temperance here, who literally has got everything under control and ain't even bothered enough about it to say a word about it. She's quiet. She's still, there's no sort of, look at me, look at this amazing like magic trick that I'm doing here. I'm not spilling a drop, see? It's none of that. Really quiet, really, really quiet, not seeking any kind of attention, let alone approval. And yeah, we got this kind of you naughty boy kind of thing going on here from the Hierophant in the reverse, the Magician in the reverse. Right, that said, I'm going to start pulling now. Okay, we've got the Two of Pentacles, juggling, playing. And I don't know, it's just in the right away. But this hat, honestly, the hat and then the two round. Oh God, is it just me? Is it just me who sees it that way? Maybe it's my naughty Magician in reverse energy coming out there. But yeah, there's been some like juggling going on here, some like multiple plates spinning going on here. And I don't know, you know, perhaps someone's dropped the ball, so to speak. But the Two of Pentacles is like this way and that way and this way and that way. And again, here, look, we've got this thing about the pendulum. I don't want to sound all, who's that author, The Pit and the Pendulum? I can't remember his name now. Some grandiose English intellectual. But Edgar Allan Poe, that's right. Was he English or was he American? Can't remember. There's this movement back and forth, and it's echoed here in the vessels of the held by the Angel of Temperance here. But clarifying the Magician in the reverse as it does, and I've just seen what's coming up in the wands, by the way. There is this sense of sort of perhaps sort of a deliberate, perhaps subconscious, who knows? I don't like throwing words like deliberate around, but some sort of force is present here that keeps you distracted and a little bit hypnotized. This back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, like swinging a you know, watch, old school sort of hypnotism, swinging a watch in front of someone and making them follow it with their eyes, and it will send you into a trance. So that's going on. But I do like the link between the Two of Pentacles here, the infinity symbol here, and the infinite movement here in the Angel of Temperance, all under control and very kind of, I wouldn't say humble about it, but absolutely no need to advertise the fact that she's so like amazing. And that's part of why she's so amazing, because she's so quiet. Ace of Wands. Is it a real one? Is it a fake one? I don't know at this stage. I mean, with the energy thus far and being clarifying as it does, the Magician in the reverse, I'd say there's a very good chance it's fake. And it's been pulled out of thin air. I mean, obviously that's a depiction in the card, but something's been kind of presented sort of out of nowhere as some sort of like great opportunity or a really good idea, or sort of the way it has to be, or something like that. Something's been sort of popped into the situation, or it might have happened repeatedly even. And that in itself can be hypnotizing and kind of very discombobulating if somebody keeps coming up with new stuff, new ideas, new viewpoints, new wishes, new visions, new this, new. It really can, yeah, send you off into a trance. It's certainly very, very sort of wearing if you engage with it. Three of Swords. Oh, and the Eight of Cups. God, I've shuffled so much, but cards keep coming up. I had these in some readings yesterday. I think in that combination. Possibly, I'll come back to this, but possibly whoever this is, whoever's been like doing this sort of like silly shenanigans here, who's been like ticked off by the cosmic rule maker, or certainly the human cosmic rule maker, or the kind of interpreter and the hander down of like spiritual discipline coming on here. Perhaps they've gone, this person. Perhaps they've gone. Perhaps they've actually exited your life. Who knows? Let's keep going. I'm going to pull now. I'm going to move over to the Hierophant. Okay, we've got the Four of Pentacles. Well, parsimony and stinginess are not virtues, but by the same token, there's something here about casting your pearls before swine. Perhaps the energy opens up here to value what you have to give in a situation more, to set it at a higher value. Because if you make it easy for people to sort of have what you have to offer, if you make it easy, they won't value it. That's bottom line. You know, if you make yourself freely available, you can't then sort of, you know, feel any way about people treating you as if you're not worth much. You know, but you up that value inside you and people will basically, you know, you make it harder to get the goods. Four of Pentacles, people will place a higher value on them. I know it sounds really sort of crude and manipulative, but that is how things work. Let's keep going. Knight of Wands. He's been around so much. This is like courageousness today. I don't have a whole heap of time for the Knight of Wands, like I don't for the Hierophant. But I'm seeing courageousness and kind of single pointedness in forward motion, and sort of going solo in a way, into some sort of new territory. And I mean, if you are a kind of serial self-devaluer, you know, people like this can get in, basically, and then when they've had their fun, they chip off. You know, and you know, if you've given yourself to them and they've just sort of like toyed with you a bit and then like put it back on the shelf and like off to pastures new, you know, it's painful, but it's about your self-worth. It's about your own perception of self-worth, and I'm getting that really strongly here. And yeah, with the Knight of Wands, the like the courage of your convictions, and to actually bring changes into your real life that reflect the holding of yourself as more valuable, basically. And I'm not talking about money. You know, I'm not talking about money, but it probably does work with money as well. But I mean, there's no kind of market rate for a human soul, is there? There's no market rate for it. You know, we set our own value. And, you know, if we're real with ourselves about the value at which we set ourselves, then we can't be kind of surprised or discombobulated when people don't give us what we think we're due in terms of respect. But those changes, that changing of your internal sense of your own value, I see it being like visibly manifested single-handedly here in the Knight of Wands, which is wonderful. I mean, it's a very different energy. I was going to say sort of noisily, but here we have this quiet energy in the middle. I'm going to be so fascinated to get to the clarification of temperance here. That's going to be really, really interesting. The second column is always the most interesting, if I may. Another 4, the 4 of Swords. Okay, this is quiet as well. I mean, the noisiest energy we've got on the table so far is the Knight of Wands. But you know, I'm cool with that. Yeah, he knows what to do with that horse. Yeah, and they're working in perfect harmony there. It's beautiful. Like the individual and the vehicle, whatever vehicle it is that is taking you into the space where you can apply this wand here in some sort of, as I say, real life setting. So that's not even particularly noisy, and this is definitely not noisy. Now, I got the 4 of Swords like several readings ago in conjunction with the 3 of Swords in another column. And this 3 of Swords here is this 3 of Swords here. And what I'm seeing here is a willingness to open one's heart, or going through a process of kind of a bit like a bug that then becomes a chrysalis and then transforms into a winged thing. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. And in that process of a bug turning into a winged thing, the bug completely like changes, reconstitutes itself inside that chrysalis. And there is a point, and perhaps that's where we are in the equinox, the halfway point, or the point at which the bug has disintegrated into sort of maximum gooiness. It just turns into gunge inside the chrysalis and then reforms itself. And that's what I'm getting here. And that sort of softness, that gunginess, that mush that the bug has to kind of deconstitute itself into, is echoed for me here by this 3 of Swords over the heart here. It's about opening your heart to this and having the courage to feel things and not just walk away, because that's what, that's what I'm seeing here. Somebody has messed around and kept you sort of mesmerized with loves me, loves me not, loves me, loves me not, loves me, loves me not, kept the drama going, or just the kind of low grade on off thing going, with always the possibility of the latest thing being the real thing between you, and then slice, 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 see you later. That's what I'm getting off this. And there's no courageousness in here. There's just kind of lightweight effing around, if I can put it that way. But here we've got knowing what you're worth, and that being like useful to you, the value at which you set yourself being useful and productive for you and those around you. Here we've got putting that into action, you putting that into action. And here we've got the willingness to lie underneath, completely like with it there above your chest, those 3 swords, and knowing that the pain of I don't know, rejection or things not going your way, basically, or not going in a direction that you like, the pain of that is bearable and it's livable. And the reason I say that is because we have the Ace of Swords running along the spine here, supporting this. It's beautiful. This is courageous. I mean, it looks like, I mean, God Almighty, the courage those little bugs have. I mean, for a start, they're really tiny. I'm a Buddhist, so I try not to kill anything. Really, really do try. I did kill something a while back because I thought I had no option. It was an insect. Definitely not a spider. And God, I felt so bad about it. But anyway, yeah, the courage to be that bug and allow yourself to sort of just disintegrate into this goo. You know, it's that takes real sort of backbone. Well, it takes a shell. And I mean, perhaps all the stone here and the fact that the figure here is sort of playing dead. It's like a carapace, it's like a chrysalis, it's like the shell of the chrysalis. And when it's time to come out. But I mean, the swords represent like mental phenomena and verbal phenomena. So this, again, as I say, is very quiet. It's meditative and it's not saying much. And we're back here again with the Angel of Temperance. This is a healthy kind of neural phenomenon. This, in this context, this Two of Pentacles, this sort of trance-like state of the Two of Pentacles is not. It was, I think I did say at some point that it was deliberate. Oh man, you see, look, I told you. I told you, Ace of Cups, that's what comes. That's what comes when you up the accuracy of your self-image and your self-awareness. And that involves being real about the fact that pain will come because you cannot control the actions of other people. So from time to time, there will be pain. And just accepting that for what it is and not hiding away from it like this energy and basically like messing people around. When you own your own heart, right? And when you've let go of the need to hide from yourself, basically, your heart transforms into this. And it's just absolutely beautiful. We've got 2 aces on the table. That very, very often happens. Things double up. It's absolutely beautiful. Right. Angel of Temperance. Okay, we've got Page of Pentacles. Again, this is like small progress, small, not small as it, not crap small, if I can put it that way, but like appropriately small. This is like little incremental changes. I'm reminded in that context, I mean, I'm a daily silent meditation practitioner, amongst other things. And I'll sit for like about 40 minutes every morning. I do about 10 minutes of pranayama and then I'll just sit like zazen, I think the Zen Buddhists call it, just like completely still, not moving. But there is always a little bit of movement. This one has to, well, I'm still working through like strengthening all the musculature but it's these tiny shifts because gravity is always acting upon one. And that's what soldiers do. Soldiers, if they're guarding somewhere and they're having to stand or guarding something, like ceremonially, and they're having to stand still for very long periods of time, they teach them to keep the body moving in the tiniest, most subtle ways in order to not, like, basically injure themselves, because you can't stand completely still for that long. And that's what I'm getting off this Page of Pentacles in the context of the Angel of Temperance here. This is, as I say, small, incremental, useful, appropriate changes are happening. There is a sort of protective element to this. Let's keep going. Seven of Wands, yeah. And this is, I mean, usually with the Seven of Wands, I'm sort of like a bit like, oh, you know, you twit, why are you putting all that energy into sort of defending yourself? Because, you know, you're already at an advantage because you're on the higher ground. But I'm not getting that this time from this card. I'm getting this real spirit of self-protection here. It's absolutely beautiful, and that's what unlocks this possibility here for us, for this wonderful development of like emotional freedom, basically free flowing here in the Ace of Cups. Absolutely lovely. And perhaps what this reading is about is like allowing yourself to be aware that you do want better. You do want better than this. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And like you are, whoever you are, you're worth happiness. You are. And anyway, let's keep going. I'll get all like evangelical. Ten of Swords. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, there must have been quite a lot of people around when these swords were pushed in, but they've all gone now. This is like a solo kind of nail in the coffin. This is the nail in the coffin of the having of this sort of like jiggery pokery in your life, because that's where we're going. The Ace of Cups. So, I mean, yeah, one reader I really like, when she pulls this one, she says, stick a fork in me, I'm done. And it is, there's a willingness here. It's almost like a sort of sweet relief I'm getting off this today. Don't usually get the idea of sweet relief off the Ten of Swords. Can't believe it. That again. I really do think there are the sort of themes, like it's almost like messages, because I shuffle but the cards come up again and again. It's really interesting, and some that hardly ever show. Bizarre. Knight of Cups. Movement, emotional movement. We've got movement here in the Knight of Wands, and we've got a kind of decision to move in a new direction here. And I mean, you know, this might be a new direction, that this energy here in column number one with the Eight of Cups, it might be in one direction, but the presence of the eclipse here, the depiction of the eclipse is more of this like back and forth, like now you see it, now you don't type thing going on. Whereas this is steadier. This is a kind of fresh and upright and kind of respectable emotional energy here. the card in this column that I'm most struck by in terms of my sense of its importance in this column is the Seven of Wands. Because like protecting yourself from this, from column number 1 type energy, it's absolutely correct that you do so. Absolutely correct. It doesn't make you demanding. It doesn't make you high maintenance. It doesn't make you any of those things. It makes you a sentient creature that wants to move towards happiness and away from suffering. Speaking as a Buddhist, that's all it makes you, and it is totally kind of respectable. That's the word that's coming up again. That you like make the changes inside yourself so that what reflects back to you from others is a more like appropriate kind of reflection of your value. There's only one you. Do people not realize that? Do they not realize that? Right, I'm going to pull one more card, and I'm pulling from this, okay, the Buddhist prayer deck. And this is a bloody great deck of cards, all of them with like a lovely like Buddhist prayer written on them. So I'm just going to open the deck and pull one at random to round this off. Now, this is not evangelical, right? I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just saying, I mean, Buddhism doesn't have to be, I was going to say doesn't have to be a religion, and in many cases it's not seen as a religion. There are some pretty pokey spiritual aspects to it, I can tell you that. But Buddhist kind of philosophy and Buddhist thinking is useful all round, whether or not there's a spiritual investment in it for you. Okay, it's that one. Let's see what we get. Oh, I haven't got my reading glasses and it's quite dark in here. May righteousness come to the wise, a treasure that others cannot share, that no thief can steal, a treasure that does not pass away. So that's the message here, all right? This is like kind of sound and fury. This is like a fireworks show here. Ta-da-da-da! Oh, look at this. And then they're gone. It's gone. It's out. And reader I really like talks about the Ace of Wands often in terms of it being like a match that you light. You strike the match and the flame comes and then it just goes. It's just gone. And in a sense, there is a kind of dodgy behavior going on here. And I see the Hierophant in reverse now looking over here in more sort of serious terms. This is no way to treat people. And, if people who treat other people like this, they do kind of, they thieve, they sort of pick the happiness pockets of people and like make off with it. Because that's all that's going to happen with them in the end. They're just going to like chip off onto the next. So righteousness, may righteousness come to the wise. Oh, I can't read that upside down. May righteousness come to the wise, a treasure that others cannot share. And here, there's Seven of Wands, Page of Pentacles, a treasure that others cannot share. Four of Pentacles. Nobody else can sort of profit or benefit from you. Other people can't like spend your kind of energetic capital unless you allow them to. Okay. And it does say here, may righteousness come to the wise. And allowing other people to spend your energetic capital on themselves, that's not wise. It's not wise. Not in the slightest, allowing this to come and go from your energy. No. 7 of Wands. This for me is the central card of this reading, and it is right in the middle of the reading. We've got 2 above here, 2 below there, 1 on each side. This is the center card of this reading. 7 of Wands. It's your treasure. You are your treasure, and you decide how much you're worth. Right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was interesting for you, or, entertaining. It is in the entertainment category. So, yeah, I'll see you again soon for another reading. Happy equinox. Bye-bye.